What's going on, everyone? Welcome back into Forward Progress. It's a Thursday night breakdown. The Jets and the Patriots presented by Fanduel. I'm Rob Pizzola, joined by Suma on the right of your screen right there. And the market tonight for this game has kind of gone back and forth. Early week movement towards the New York Jets, then some back on the Patriots. Right now, we're kind of sitting in that 6.5 range across market, Suma. What do you make of this matchup? You're a Jets fan. You expecting big things from them tonight, or do you think this is a game where the Patriots can keep it close?
The latter. I don't have too many hopes for the Jets tonight. Also, in general, I'm not really that convinced by their two performances, weeks 1 and 2. And going into this matchup tonight, I think the Patriots might actually give them a very good game, even though the Pats are also dealing with some injuries. The Jets' run game has been very inconsistent. It feels like very vanilla, like they don't really know what they're trying to do. And also, I feel like they can't really mesh their run game with their passing game because that passing game runs through Aaron Rodgers. And if he calls an audible for like 3 different routes, he will do it no matter what Nathaniel Hackett says on the sideline. So, running game has been inconsistent. And now they are going to go up against a very physical Pats front. They won't have Javon Bentley. That's a miss. But I still think that this Patriots front, they have done a phenomenal job against the Seahawks and against the Bengals. I also think that they will give the Jets a very hard time. And everything in that offense for the Jets feels hard. And the Pats, on top of that front, they also have a very, very decent secondary with 3 good corners that are actually or should be able to shadow Garrett Wilson. And if you try to take away Garrett Wilson, I think that the Pats can make this Jets offense very one-dimensional. On the other side, the Pats offensive style through 2 weeks has been running the ball and then try to hit their tight ends. Last week they had, I think, 3 completions to their wide receivers. So they will have a hard matchup or a harder matchup when a defense can actually stop the run. I thought that the Seahawks would have a better chance at doing so, but they also ran the ball very well on that Seahawks Mike McDonald defense. And when it comes to the Jets defense, they have some major issues now. Compared to last season, that front 7 will be without Bryce Huff, Jermaine Johnson, Quentin Jefferson, and John Franklin Myers. So that is a completely different defensive line than it was last year. And on top of that, there's an actual chance that CJ Mosley might miss this game. I think this might come down to a game time decision. Has not practiced with his toe injury. So if he's out, it gets even worse. But now you are talking that outside of Q Will, it's a very, very thin defensive line, thin front 7, and I think that the Patriots will actually be able to run the ball on them. And if you cannot get much pressure with your front 7, then every coverage guy outside of Sauce Gardner will get exposed at some point. I'm not saying that those Patriots wide receivers have the horses to expose them, but if they can run the ball, that will make their vanilla or their limitations in the passing game not as severe. So overall, I like this matchup for the Patriots. 6.5 points is a little bit too rich for me. I'm closer towards 5.5. I lean Pats here. I think that they will give the Jets a very good game tonight.
Yeah, I don't have as much conviction as you, but I think I like the Pats, if anything. Certainly concerned about the injuries on the offensive line with them, but you have to also look at the front 7 for the Jets as well. And, you look at what the Pats do well. They don't really throw to the receivers. They don't have the explosiveness on the outside. It's been a steady dose of the running game, whether it's Ramondre Stevenson or Antonio Gibson, who performed really well last week at Seattle, at home to Seattle. Or you look at Hunter Henry over the middle of the field, just a ton of targets last week. These are areas where I think the Jets can be exploited. And I'm not buying the Jets offense just yet. They have some explosive players. Breece Hall, certainly. Braylon Allen last week looked very good when he was relieving Breece Hall in a lot of instances. Obviously, you have Garrett Wilson. but it's not the same explosive Aaron Rodgers offense from years past. It's just a lot of let's move the chains type of stuff. And when you're looking to win by margin, I think it's a little bit more challenging to do that. One thing I will say, Suma, I've seen a lot of people on opposite sides of this game. Seems like there's genuine interest in both sides here. A lot of the arguments in favor of the Jets are situational. You have a few situational trends that seem to favor the Jets. One would be first-time head coaches on Thursday Night Football. So the first time that they have to play a game on short rest, have a very poor track record. Gerard Mayo fits that category. And also teams coming off of an overtime game that also have to play on Thursday Night Football, short rest. I understand the logic there. They have a pretty bad track record. Do any of these things concern you going into this game?
Yeah, I mean, if it matters, it's already priced into the market. I would say that's also a decent angle, and that is that Nathaniel Hackett is not good angle. So I think that I'm not a believer in this Jets coaching staff at all. I think Robert Saleh might be a good guy who gets these guys motivated. But overall, over the past few years with that coaching staff, I'm not really convinced that they are a plus EV unit when it comes to preparation on short rest and making sound in-game decisions.
Yeah, I'm with you. And also for concerns about the Patriots defense might be tired going into tonight's game because they had that overtime game against Seattle. Well, Patriots defense was actually on the field less than the Jets defense last week, despite the overtime game as well. So I'm not really buying it from that standpoint either. From a props perspective, I can start here because there's not really anything that I love in this game from a props perspective, but I feel like I really have these teams kind of pegged through the first couple weeks of the year in the sense that there's some real tendencies for both of the offenses. And you look at what the Jets bring to the table at cornerback for this game, Sauce Gardner, DJ Reed, Michael Carter. I just don't know how the Patriots receivers are going to get separation in a lot of these instances. So unders on Patriots receivers and overs on running backs and tight ends for the Patriots would just be like the general look based off of the numbers I see in market right now. But what really strikes me for the Patriots is when they get into the red zone, they are such a heavy run team in the red zone so far this season. They just don't even target receivers. Like KJ Osborne has 2 targets in the red zone. Jalen Polk has 2. Hunter Henry has 2. Ramondre Stevenson has 13 touches. Antonio Gibson has 3. So it's a pretty heavy run. And I look at the anytime touchdown score market. Typically, you don't find value at the top end of the board, but I'm really looking towards both Ramondre Stevenson and Antonio Gibson in this market at the current prices. Anytime I see a plus on Ramondre Stevenson with the way that the Patriots, deploy their red zone targets, so to speak, I have to take a look at that. And they also don't have the explosive plays, by the way. It's not like the Patriots are scoring 50-yard touchdowns with bombs from midfield with Jacoby Brissett. So those are guys that I'm going to look at, probably just spread out the units a little bit based off that. But anything from a player prop perspective that you have your eyes on?
What I like tonight is basically which jumps to my handicap on the game. I think that Garrett Wilson will have a rough game. I think that the Pats can put Christian Gonzalez on him and maybe try to contain him. So I like everything that is correlated to that, and I think Alan Lazard could actually have a decent game. Could be Aaron Rodgers' security blanket tonight. So I like Alan Lazard over 2.5 receptions. I like Garrett Wilson under receiving yards. So probably looking at everything that follows my handicap on the game, where it might be a close game. Garrett Wilson might have a tough one, and which players could benefit from that. I think that Breece Hall might see some targets and some decent receiving yards as well. So Alan Lazard is the one I'm looking at tonight.
Okay, interesting. We're going to get to more of this in our SGPs here in 1 second. Before we do, just want to remind everyone, there's no better place to get in on the NFL action than Fanduel, America's #1 sportsbook. And right now, all customers can bet $5 to get a 3-week free trial of NFL Sunday Ticket from YouTube and YouTube TV. You'll be able to watch every regular season Sunday afternoon out-of-market game. Fanduel is the only book where you can get this offer, and it's expiring soon, so take advantage of it. And in addition to the offer, personally, I just love Fanduel's product. I'd highly recommend that you check it out if you haven't already. A lot of other apps and sites out there are very tough to navigate. They're just not intuitive. Fanduel is very clean, and easy, so to speak. And, you can use it really easily. So with Fanduel, don't have to leave the app to access real-time stats and data. Really helps when you're live betting as well, so you can make even more winning bets. Visit fanduel.com/forward-progress to download America's #1 sportsbook. That's fanduel.com/forward-progress. Forward Progress is all one word. You must be 21 plus, 18 plus in DC and present in select states. The offer ends this Sunday, September 22nd. After the 3-week free trial, the full price of NFL Sunday Ticket will automatically be charged seasonally. You can cancel anytime. No refunds. Terms, restrictions, and embargoes apply. YouTube TV base plan is required to watch YouTube TV. Redemption requires a Google account and a current form of payment. If you have a gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit rg-help.com. All right, Suma, SGPs for tonight's game. These are pretty fun recreational style bets, but they end up with some really big payouts every now and then. I happened to catch one on Monday Night Football with the Falcons and Darnell Mooney. Let's try to cash one tonight. What are you looking at for the SGP market?
I'm looking at a 3-leg SGP that pays a little over 40-1. That's Patriots -2.5 on the spread. Garrett Wilson under 64.5 receiving yards, and Alan Lazard 6+ receptions for the game. So, like I said, I could see Garrett Wilson not having a monster night, and I could see Alan Lazard being Rodgers' security blanket tonight. I like the Pats on the spread. So to push those odds, I'm going with a Pats upset and those 2 receiving props baked in.
Yeah, I like that. That's a good angle and a really good price on just a 3-gamer. For me, I'm going to build one around Thursday Night Football. Short week of preparation for both of these teams, and I think both of these teams just go to their bread and butter. What have they done well this year? Make the game plan very simple. You don't want to install too many things over the course of just a few days. So I'm going to play a 3-legger. Antonio Gibson, 40+ alternate rushing yards. Ramondre Stevenson has gotten a ton of usage in the first couple of games. It's a short week. Gibson's coming off a very nice game. I think they work him into the running game quite a bit and try to beat down that Jets defensive front. I'm going Hunter Henry, alternate receiving yards of 40+ as well, because he's the guy right now in the Patriots passing offense. Jacoby Brissett has eyes for Hunter Henry. The Jets are struggling over the middle of the field with the injuries that they have, especially in the linebacking core. If CJ Mosley is hampered tonight, that would be a big one for them. And then finally, I'm going to take Breece Hall, alternate receiving yards of 40+, because there's only 3 guys in the Jets offense that get targets right now. 2 are at receiver, the others in the backfield. Everyone else is not seeing any other targets. And Breece Hall's the guy that Aaron Rodgers can just rely on as a safety valve. We've seen 2 big games for him in out of the backfield, receiving as well. So those are 3-leggers. I'm not going to attach a side or a total to it. I'm just going in with the idea that this is Thursday Night Football. Keep it simple, stupid, for both of these teams. And I think that's what they will do. You can join me back here on Forward Progress tonight for the game, a live watch along. 15 minutes prior to the game, I'll go live. I'll break down all the props that I like. Things change over the course of the day. I'll talk through this SGP a little bit more. I'll give a full game breakdown, and then we're going to just watch it as a group, find some live betting at FanDuel as well. So join me tonight here on Forward Progress. For myself, for Suma, for our producer, Jason Cooper. Enjoy the game tonight. Good luck with your bets. This has been the Thursday Night Football preview presented by FanDuel.